Okay, guys, mastering commercial real estate lead generation. Very, very important. Okay. Why? Because lead generation is think of it like the nourishment for your business. Okay. How many of you have children, have nieces, nephews, some small little infants in your life, little people under the age of 5 years old? How many of you have those in your life? Just raise your hands, just out of curiosity. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm about to say it's really going to hit home. Okay. Would you ever not feed your 3-year-old like for a day or two? Right. Would you ever not feed a puppy for a day or 2 or 3? Right. Okay. Why then would some people take a day or 2 or 3 off lead generation for their business? Why would you not prospect? Because knowing that, and most people never make the connection. Most people never think of it that way. They're just like, I'm busy. I'm closing a bunch of deals. I'll do it tomorrow. No. You would never malnourish a puppy or a child. Your business is your baby, right? That's the baby that you take care of. That's going to take care of you if you do it right. Okay, into your retirement, into your old age, right? So if you are doing it right, you are nourishing that baby every day so it can grow big and strong and then take care of you. You guys with me? Type a 1 in the chat if that makes sense and you're like, okay, yeah. Because what I want to really do before we get into the tactical practical, I want to change your guys' kind of mindset towards prospecting, because most folks, they're like prospecting like when they don't have time, or like it's the first thing that falls off. Okay, guys, let's be honest. Okay, this is the circle of trust here. Okay, how many of you, okay, type a 3 in the chat if the first thing to fall off is your prospecting because deals get busy and you got contract coming through and you got a whole bunch of things. Let's just be honest here, okay? Because I have done it before. But once I learned how darn important prospecting was, once I kind of started viewing it like you would never starve a puppy or a child, that's when I realized it clicked for me. And I went on an absolute tear, and it was the most influential, most life-changing, frankly, time in my business, 800 days straight, Monday through Friday, of prospecting. Now, not every day did I hit 50 dials. Okay. I always say 50 dials a day keeps poverty at bay, but every single day, Monday through Friday for 800 days, I was able to get at least a handful of calls in. And what that does for your business, folks, is irreversible. I used to pray for this phone to ring. And at a certain point, I couldn't get it to stop. How many of you would type stop in the chat if you'd like to get it to the point where your phone is ringing off the hook and you wish it would almost stop? Type that in the chat because you are a commercial listing agent. Okay. That's what we're here to talk about, guys. So without further ado, right? Everybody knows that you're supposed to prospect. Everybody knows that you're supposed to do it. Everybody knows that it's important. I think if not, you guys have been asleep on the job, but I know nobody here would be that. But the fact of the matter is, okay, things come up. Not everybody does it on a daily basis. And what I'm here to tell you, folks, is so important for you to do it on a daily basis. You get up, hopefully most of you will shower every day, most of you brush your teeth every day, right? Most of you get up and take care of yourself every day. You can't brush your teeth 14 times on Sunday, right? You got to do it twice a day, 7 days a week. Does that make sense, folks? Right? Type 14 in the chat, right? If you wouldn't just brush your teeth 14 times on Sunday, it's the same thing. I would rather you do 5 dials a day for 7 days a week, or let's just say 5 dials a day for 5 days a week, then do 25 dials 1 day of the week. Because the thing that you're missing out on is you're missing out on a habit. Okay. What happens to a muscle if it doesn't get used? It atrophies, right? The same thing. Prospecting is a muscle. How does a muscle get strong? Anybody give me a guess of how a muscle gets strong? How do you get a muscle to be strong? What are a couple things? Go ahead and throw it in the chat. I want to kind of connect like real word pressure. Love it. Good. Yep. Okay. Good. Richard, love that. You already know this. Good. We're getting to it. I promise you're going to pick up some important stuff here, stuff that you never thought about. Practice. Yes, Olga. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Hopefully everybody knows that you're supposed to prospect every day. However, there are a few key factors. Okay. Does everybody remember being back in high school? Okay. And if you were, you had like that 24 to the padlock to get into your locker, right? 24 to the right, 13 to the left, 7 to the right. It opens right up. Okay. What happens if any one of those items, of any one of those numbers is not right. What happens, folks? Put it in the chat. Okay. What happens if any one of those numbers, you miss it? What happens? Someone let me know. What happens if you're trying to open up a padlock? Doesn't open. Exactly, right? All it takes is one of the things to be missing, right? So what I want you folks to understand, you need to have 3 things daily. So these are 3 key factors, okay, that you need to be doing, right? You need to be reaching out to the right person, okay, at the right time and with the right message. You get 2 of the 3, you're not going to get any business, okay? What's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of activity, but you're not going to get a lot of business. How many of you have ever felt like you're doing a lot of activity, but it's not bearing results? You're not getting what they call traction. Go ahead and raise your hand, guys. If give me a thumbs up, hit that where it says reactions, right? Thumbs up. I see Soraya's with me, right? When you ever get that feeling, you're like, gosh, I'm making a lot of phone calls. I'm doing a lot of this. I'm doing a lot of that, but it's not bearing fruit. Okay. That's because you're not reaching out to the right person at the right time with the right message. Those are the 3 key ingredients. Okay. Very, very important. So when you're reaching out, okay, when you're cultivating a culture or building that muscle, like we talked about, of lead generation, you need to be doing 3 things on a daily basis, as much as you possibly can. And they are P, P, and F. Go ahead and write that down, folks. P, P, and F. And this is very, very important, because if you're not doing P, P, F, okay, you are not doing the highest value activities. Highest value activities are the things that are the most likely to move the needle towards making money in the brokerage. Now, I know we've done this before, but just as I want to give you a real quick reference, okay? Everybody, type in the chat what you want to make in the next 12 months, okay? I'm about to open your eyes to something. Just write in the chat what you want to make in the next 12 months. Very, very important. Okay, 300,000. Love it. Okay, cool. Who's next? Come on. Soraya's not the only one here. She's the only one that's going to learn here. She's the only. There we go. Thank you, Sharon. 250, 275. Good. Love it. Okay, now we're talking. Million. Okay, now we're talking, guys. All right, so what this is, folks, okay, take whatever you want to make, 350,000. Well, let's just do a real simple math, because, well, I'm not really that smart. I just work real hard. Right? Take 200,000 and you divide it by 40 hours per week times 50 weeks of the year. You take 2 weeks vacation. Okay, that's 2,000 working hours per year. 200,000 divided by 2,000. If you're trying to make $200,000 in the next 12 months, your time is worth $100 per hour. Does everybody see how I did that? Okay. For instance, Emmanuel wants to earn 500K. His hour, every hour of his work week is worth 500,000 divided by 2,000, which is $250 an hour, right? Y'all mix with me? Okay. So whatever you are doing, like those of you who want to make 350, your time is worth 175 an hour. Now, you need to be doing the majority of your day P, P, and F. If you are not, you are dragging down that average price per hour. Okay. Does that make sense, folks? If you're doing what I call low value activities. What is a low value activity? A definition of a low value activity is anything that is worth less than your individual price per hour. Okay. So if let's say you want to make 400K next year, and that's $200 an hour, 40 hours a week. Now, does it make sense for you to do something that you could pay somebody $20 an hour to do when your time is worth $200 an hour? Right? Does Bill Gates mop the floors at Microsoft? Does Warren Buffett sweep the driveway at Berkshire Hathaway? I don't think so. Why? Anybody guess? Anybody? Put it in the chat. Come on. What do you got? Because their time is worth more. Okay. So if you're not doing P, or F, the majority of your day, you are dragging down your hourly rate. Now you're probably asking exactly, Richard, too much value for the task. Exactly. P, P, and F is prospecting, presenting, and following up. Those are the 3 highest value activities in this business. And they're not exactly, Valerie, they're not money-making tasks. You should not be posting properties on LoopNet. You should not be playing around with flyers. You should not be scheduling email blasts. You should not be. These are all things that that you could pay an admin help, $5 an hour, if $10 an hour. In the Philippines, I think you can get between $6 and $8 an hour. You can get people for it, right? My point is, okay, if you are doing this work yourself, and that's the biggest sticking point for most people is getting away from the low value activities, okay? Because if you want to double your business in the next year, you need to cut all of the low value activities and outsource them, okay? So PP&S, prospecting, presenting, and following up. The more you can do those three things, the more money you're going to make in the next 12 months. And that's why everybody is here. And those are all, they're either lead generation or lead follow-up. Okay, so those are the three most important lead generation activities you need to be doing. Okay, so this is not the sexiest material on earth, guys, but this is the level of game that people talk about, okay? That I should say that few people talk about. Why? Because most people are like, oh, just do more. Just go out and make more dials. How many of you have ever had an older broker in your office just be like, just go out and prospect. Just go out and do more. Well, why don't we be a little bit more strategic, right? Right? I see Zetria is with me, right? Let's be a little bit more strategic, okay? What's the best way to start your morning off right? You do it by starting it the night before, okay? What does that look like? How about you do as many tasks in the morning as you can the night before so that in the morning you can arrive at the office in the same mental state, okay? Relax, calm, cool, collected. How many of you have ever arrived at the office, the alarm went off late and the dog ran away when you went to go run it and your kids were running late and you get to the office and you're flustered and you're not in like in a calm, cool, collected state, right? We have all been there. Rushing. I hate it when my day starts off rushing, okay? So the more things you can do the night before, the more it's going to set your day up for success. Guys, I call it stacking the deck. If you guys just want to like a deck of cards, right? If you guys want to set yourself up for success, you stack the deck in your favor. It's basically you are making the odds work for you instead of against you. How do you stack the deck in your favor? Do as much as you can the night before. It sounds simple, guys, but these small shifts, 3% here, 5% there, 5% there. Next thing you know, you have a 15, 20, 30, 40% advantage on the next guy or gal who isn't doing this, okay? So again, start your day the night before. Routines. How many of you are sports fans here, guys? Type your favorite sport in the chat. I want to make this like customized to you guys. Type your favorite sport in the chat or your favorite sports player. Boxing. Love it, Richard. Okay, let's talk about that, right? Routines. Oh, Mayweather. Heck yeah. Okay. Mayweather, one of the best defensive boxers of all time, right? He's undoubtedly the best boxer of all time, right? Basketball. Okay. Love it. Football. What these people do is they do routines over and over and over again. So the stuff becomes muscle memory. Okay. Football players, they run drills. The quarterbacks, they step back, take a pass and throw, right? Boxers, they do shadow boxing. They do drills so that they are ready. When the moment comes, it's just instinct. Okay. Basketball players, when they're at the line, Steph Curry does these exact same three. If you watch a basketball player closely, they will do the exact same amount of dribbles. They'll get themselves into position. They'll even work the motion with their hand, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to ingrain it in their brain. They're trying to pull on muscle memory, okay? Brokerage business is no different. Lead generation, being able to be consistent, okay? And I guarantee with every fiber of my being that everybody here that's listening to the sound of my voice can benefit from being more consistent. The way you become more consistent is that you ingrain it, you groove it, you grease the groove over and over and over again. Now, write this down, folks. You don't want to do it so much that you get it right, okay? That's okay. But we want to do the activity so much that we can't get it wrong. Say it again. Don't do it so much that you get it right. Do it so you can't get it wrong. That's what's called overlearning. When you learn something so much that you can't get it wrong, it's overlearning. The technical definition is practicing something way beyond the point of mastery, right? You are doing it so it's just instinct. It's just instinct, right? If you went up to Floyd Mayweather and you went like that, right? well, guess what's going to happen? He's going to pop you. Why? Because his instincts are just built in there, right? You try to juke Michael Jordan. Guess what? He's going to know. He's going to go whether to go left or go right. Brokerage is the same thing, folks. All we are doing is executing a sales process. Does that make sense, guys? It's very, very simple, but it's not easy to do. Okay. Very, very important. So the more you create a routine, the more you get up the same time every day. So go so far. I don't know if you guys know who Nick Saban is. He's one of the most successful football coaches in college football ever, right? For those of you that know who he is, the guy eats the same thing every day for lunch. The Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Albert Einstein, right? Jobs, right? They all they wore the same clothing over and over and over again. Why? Because it's routine. It's one less choice they had to make, one less ounce of brain energy they had to expend on what they were wearing, right? Routines are very, very good for setting up consistency. Okay. Very, very important. Now, what does this all have to do with brokerage, right? You need to be doing the same exact thing every single day. Go to bed the same time every night. Get up the same time every day. I would go as far as to say, eat the same kind of breakfast, because if you eat the same breakfast, how many of you have ever eaten a meal and got real lethargic? And how many of you ever eaten a meal and been real energized, right? Like everybody here. So doesn't it stand to reason that if you ate the same breakfast every day or something similar, in terms of like macronutrients, that you would arrive with the same energy level every day? When you guys all like to be in the same mindset every single day, consistency is where you win, guys. Consistency is the difference between you and your competition. The question is, who's going to be more ready to make that call when they get to the office in the morning? Okay. The next most important thing is showing up. Okay. One of the most successful people that I've ever had as a client, right? He said to me one thing. I said, what is your secret to success? He said, you have to show up at the office the same time every day. I'm like, what? No, you can't be. He said, no, you don't understand that. You do that, you'll be ahead of 99% of people. Show up at the office the same time every day. Because think about it. You're setting yourself up for a routine so that you do the same thing over and over again. And when you are consistent, you are able to be persistent. And when you're persistent, you're going to win a lot of business. Does that make sense, folks? Guys, type a 1 in the chat if you're with me, if you're getting value here, if this is something that's kind of making sense, okay? Like we talked about, bedtime. You go to bed the same time every night. Guess what's going to happen? Your brain is going to be able to work properly. You're going to feel well rested in the morning. You're going to be able to, and then if you want to take a step further, shut off any screens an hour before you go to bed. Why? Screens emit blue light. If you are going to use a screen, get yourself a pair of blue light glasses. You can get them for like 10 or 12 bucks on Amazon. Okay. The point is, nowadays, we are staring at screens all day long, and blue light, it's undetectable for us, but blue light, it triggers and stimulates different parts of the brain. How many of you ever have been on the computer until late at night and then you try to fall asleep and either you couldn't fall asleep or you fell asleep and you rested really, really poorly? Hands up if it's ever happened to you guys, okay? Here's a little hack. Spend 10, 12 bucks on a pair of blue light glasses. That's going to help you sleep better. Guys, this stuff might sound stupid and granular, but this is the difference between making it, because at the end of the day, I'm sure you guys are all going to work every day. I don't have to tell you to do that. But when the way that Olympic athletes if they can get a 1% advantage on their competition, they're all over it. This is how you get an advantage on the competition, because the guy or gal that shows up at the office is most prepared, makes the most dials, and is in the same state of mind every day. Do you think he's going to have an edge on the competition? Yes. Type yes in the chat if you guys are with me. Do you see how what we're talking about? We're talking about building solid habits so that you can be consistent with your lead generation. Everybody knows you're supposed to do it, but not everybody does it. Why? Because we haven't gotten clarity. We haven't gotten focus on what it means to be consistent. They're just like, some days I make it, some days I don't. No. Imagine if you were to reverse engineer that and go to bed at the same time every day, wake up the same time every day, eat the same breakfast, have the same routine, get to the office the same time every day. Do you think you're going to have an edge on the competition? You had better believe it. Okay. Sleep hygiene, very, very important. Some people, if you really want to start getting dialed in on this, set an alarm an hour before you're supposed to fall asleep, so that it triggers you to go into your bedroom and start unwinding. Maybe read a book, maybe watch a little bit of TV, but just throw these glasses on. That's all. You just don't want your brain taking in blue light because blue light keeps your brain. I love it. There you go, Soraya. Absolutely. Okay. Again, the way to start your day off and have the same amount of energy. Okay. There's a reason why when you're prospecting, why you want to be standing up. Does anybody know why you want to be standing up? Right? Can anybody? I see Soraya's up there. Anybody put a guess in the chat for me. Why do you want to stand up? Okay. The guy's screaming it with a megaphone right here. The reason we stand up is yes, Zetria, more confidence. Absolutely. Okay. Have you ever seen a president deliver a speech from a chair? Ever? Like ever? No. He's standing up at a podium. Okay. More energy in the highest. What else happens? Have you ever seen a singer laying down? No, right? Why? Because you can't sing properly that way. When you are standing, okay, now, number one, you have more energy because you're moving around, your blood is flowing. And when your blood is flowing out your body, your blood is flowing to your brain as well. Very important. Not only is your diaphragm more open, you're going to have more power. You're going to get more blood flowing. You're going to get more oxygen in your lungs. You are going to be more persuasive to the person on the other end of that phone. You might handle that other objection. They might subconsciously hear the confidence in your voice, hear the energy in your voice. Does that make sense to any of you guys? Type a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. Guys, we're trying to stack the deck in our favor. We are trying to make this unfair. Who here wants an unfair advantage in their business, right? This is how you do it, guys. This is, like I said, this isn't sexy material. This is the stuff the big boys do. This is what the high producing agents do. This is how they hack it. You ever looked at anyone in your office and you're like, how do they do that? They're not that smart. They're not that hardworking. What are they doing that I'm not doing, right? Anybody who's with me? Yeah? Okay. Stand up when you're on the phone. Absolutely. What I recommend, guys, I practice what I preach. Headset right here. Boom. Bluetooth headset. Pop it on, right? And what you do is when, I don't know if you noticed or not, I have a microphone here, but you want to have either like earbuds. The quality isn't that good. I would say get yourself a good headset. But when you are gesticulating with your hands, you are expressing yourself, okay? As opposed to sitting on a phone, hunched over at the desk. Who do you think is going to be more persuasive? The guy that's doing this or the person that's able to explain their point, you know? Some of us use our hands more than others when we talk, but the point is there have been studies shown that when you gesture while you're speaking, you are be more convincing, right? And on the other end, people will hear more conviction in your voice, okay? These are the little things you got to clue in on, guys. This is the granular detail that most people just completely overlook if they even know about it. Okay. Who here's getting like value out of this? Is this making sense, guys? Right? Okay. Do me a favor, type value in the chat. I just want to make sure that you guys are getting something. I want you to take something you learned today and implement it tomorrow. Okay. We want you guys to take a gold nugget and put it into your business. Because here's the thing, guys. I don't know if you've ever read Atomic Habits. They talk about getting 1% better every day, right? And it's a cool theory, but I look at like, what if we just got 2% better a week? How many of you, show of hands, type a 2 in the chat if you think that you could get 2% better every week? How many of you are there that think you could do that, right? Type a 2. Olga can, Soraya can, Zetria can, okay? The reason being, guys, if you got 2% better a week times 52 weeks, how many percent better you think you'd be at the end of the year? Just take a guess. Type it in the chat for me. It's not what you think. Type it in the chat. I dare you. Type it. Come on. Woo, getting close, Soraya. You okay? No. Most people think it's 52 times 2, right? Because there'll be 104. It's actually 274. Why? Because there's a compounding effect. 2% better, then 2% better, 2% on 2% on 2% on 2% times 52, right? That's 274% better after 1 year's time. So guys, if you believe in your heart of hearts that you can get 2% better every week, you will be able to see 274% improvement. It's math, okay? But again, it all comes back to consistency in your lead generation is king. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, okay? So how many of you here, if you're loving this, you want to learn how to crack the code on lead generation, right? We do a 6-month training course on this, in terms of showing you what to do every single step of the way. Like what we're talking about, this is the mindset and the strategies, right? Then we get into like the tactics, right? For those of you that want to learn this, type hashtag crack the code. We can show you, we can have someone from the team reach out. But if you want to learn these skills, if this is something you want to do, if you want to be able to take 2, 3, 4 commercial listings a month, that is absolutely something that's within your grasp and something that we do over and over and over again with our students. Okay. So on and on. So when you get there in the morning, when you get to the office in the morning, most people do not have clarity in terms of what they should be doing every single hour of the day. Okay. How many of you type yes in the chat if you know exactly everything you're supposed to be doing every single hour of the day, okay, to maximize your effectiveness and your efficiency, or type a no in the chat if you're just not sure. And that's okay, right? Ooh, Tim. Yeah. Okay, good. You're reading my mind, buddy. You're reading my mind, Tim. Yeah. So what you need to do, okay, you need to prioritize, okay? And how do we prioritize? What were the PPF, guys? What were the 3 things that you need to be doing the most of, okay? Prospecting, presenting, and following up. Those are going to be your time blocks. Yes, Soraya. Yes, you're getting it. Love it. Guys, can you tell why she's going to be one of my Gold Star students? She just signed up for me and she's getting it. She is getting it. She's locked in. For those of you that want to take your business to the next level, you need to be locked in, because when you get there in the morning, you need to know the first block of the morning, you need to get to the office every single day at 8 o'clock. Okay. And you need to be outbound prospecting from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, right? You can do like 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break, do another 50 minutes. If you don't want to do 2 hours, do 90 minutes. Okay. But I have a saying, 50 dials a day keeps poverty at bay. If you want to make a lot of money in this business, very, very few people are doing the activities necessary. Do me a favor, guys. Type a 1 in the chat, okay? If you want to be a 1% earner, right? $428,000 a year in the United States, okay? That is 8 times what the average American makes, okay? Yes, there's a whole bunch of 1s coming in here, guys. Now, here's the thing. The next thing I want to ask is, how many of you are willing to do what 99% of people are not willing to do, right? What they won't do. If you want to be a 1% earner, you don't deserve 1% income unless you're willing to do what 99% of people won't do. Does that make sense, folks? You with me? Okay. So 99% of people cannot get to the office at 8 o'clock every day. Block number 1, 8 to 10. And if you want to, you want a little ninja hack here, go into your calendar right now and put a block that says 8 to 10 is going to be prospecting. Okay. Next, block number 2. Okay. 10 to 11. What are you going to be doing? You're going to be following up. Okay. You're going to reach out to all the people that called on your listings yesterday. You're going to reach out to that deal that you got going on. Okay. Do not let some property that's under contract interrupt your 8 to 10. That's a violation. Nobody. There are no emergencies in real estate, and there's nothing that can't wait 90 minutes. Nothing. Okay. You know what will wait 90 minutes? Your future income. Okay. If you jump from there, because I'm sure more than half of the people on here are guilty. And I've been guilty of this in the past, prioritizing that one deal, babysitting that one deal like a mama goose sitting on an egg. Right. And then next thing you know, your prospecting falls off, and guess what? That deal falls apart. And then you got a big goose egg. Right. So do we make calls at 8 a.m.? Absolutely. Yes. The most appointments you're going to book are going to be between 8 and 8:20 a.m. Why? Because serious people are up and at it at business by 8 o'clock. Okay. A lot of realtors because a lot of people like to say, oh, well, no one's up at that hour. BS. That's a big bunch of crap. And I'll tell you why, because I have booked hundreds and hundreds of meetings before 9 o'clock in the morning, over and over and over again. Think about it, guys. If you're serious, the people that are serious are getting in and getting at it, but before everyone else. Also, gatekeepers, right, aren't in until 9:30, and you get to speak to the boss directly. And the boss isn't in the thick of his day if you're calling him at noon, right? So oftentimes the boss is the owner of the property or an investor. So you want to make sure you're getting them earlier. The earlier you get them, the less distracted they're going to be from their daily activities. Great question, Soraya. Okay. Block number 3 is going to be from 11 to 12. The meetings that you got from your 8 to 10 prospecting, you're going to be reaching out you're going to be doing your research. Okay. I don't want you to learn every single brick of every single building before picking up the phone. Most people use that as a distraction to avoid having to cold call. I want you to know just enough so that you can move forward and have a conversation, because all you're trying to do is to see if you can help somebody. That is it. Richard Johnson, if you were in quicksand, buddy, and I reached my hand out, okay, would you say, call me back in a month? No, right? You'd be like, yeah, I need your help. I need your help. Okay. Same thing goes with clients. Okay. When people need your help, they're going to tell you, sure, come on out. Let's have a conversation. Okay. So there's an old saying, some will, some won't. So what next? Right. At the end of the day, if you reach out to enough people, you're going to find someone who's in quicksand and needs your help. And that's our job. Our job isn't to try to find someone that's willing to talk to you and then follow up with them endlessly. We want to find the people that are we can help and need our help the most, and follow up with them until we can get their business, right? But the morning time, what you're doing from 11 to 12 is you're researching the building. You don't have to go crazy. 20 minutes of research is fine. Get to see what it sold for last, get to see what the zoning is, get to understand what the rents in that market are and so forth. You don't need to know everything, because you want to have just enough information. So when you get to the listing presentation, okay, you ask a bunch of questions and you say, hey, I did my due diligence, but I just want to make sure sometimes the information online isn't all that accurate. And then you go and you ask the owner a bunch of questions. And guys, we show our acumen, our business acumen, by the questions we ask, not necessarily the statements we make. When someone asks you 5 or 10 really, really good questions, guess what? They're going to be like, oh, this guy knows exactly what he's talking about. You ever been to a doctor and they ask you these questions that you would have even thought of, right? And you're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he's a doctor. So no different. Next up. So guys, this is what you need to be doing every single day in terms of lead gen in order to maximize your business. Most people have no idea. Arrive at 8 o'clock, prospect for 2 hours, do your follow-up from 10 to 11. Those deals that you've been babysitting, call back, make those calls, take an hour to do that. Okay. Then you're going to do your research. Then from 12 to 1, take your lunch. Okay. You deserved it. You earned it. You've been at the office 4 hours. You've probably been up since 6 or so, right? Take your lunch. Next thing, afternoon, block 1 from 1 to 3, you're going to go on your first meeting. Okay. If you don't have your first meeting, you can pick up the phone and make some more dials so that you have meetings for tomorrow, or maybe possibly for later that day. Or you can do a research project, maybe you need to add more people to the database and that sort of thing. There is always something to be doing in brokerage. Okay. So from afternoon, go ahead and put in that calendar of yours from 1 to 3, it's going to be your afternoon block number 1. Afternoon block number 2. And by the way, 2 hours should be plenty of time to drive to a place, conduct the meeting, and then drive to your next place. Okay. Now, afternoon block 2 is from 3 to 5. Hopefully you have 2 meetings booked that day if you made enough dials, right? Or if the day before you didn't have a meeting, maybe you made some more dials. If you make 50 in the morning and you got some time in the afternoon, maybe you make another 20 dials, and then you go on your second meeting. If you don't have a second meeting, pick up the phone and start dialing. Guys, there's a reason. This is a contact sport. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. It is literally that simple. Pick up the phone and start dialing, like Leo DiCaprio's character said in The Wolf of Wall Street. Pick up the phone. You're tired of not being able to pay rent. Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing. You're not in where you're living. You don't like where you're living. You don't like your lifestyle. You feel like a loser. Good. Pick up the phone and start dialing, because that's what it's going to take to get you to where you want to go. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. Next, when you get done with your afternoon meeting, your block number 3 is going to be from 5 to 6. And that is when you plan for the next day. That's when you follow up with any people that called on any of your listings. That's when you follow up with anything that happened when on any of the contracts you have under, right? Very, very simple. Very, very important. Can anybody tell me why you planned for your day the day before? Okay, I just want to touch on that briefly, right? Why do we plan the day before? Your brain is a supercomputer, and it is busy trying to figure things out for you. You don't even realize it. It's what's called your subconscious mind, because you're not conscious at the time, right? Tim, also, yes, so you can relax it. Exactly. There's a lot of times there's a bunch of stuff running through your head. Okay. When you write it down, okay, I absolutely always have a pad by the computer, right? Why? Because you want to get that stuff out of your head and write it down. If you've ever noticed you have things running through your mind, the second you write them down, your brain gets a chance to rest. Also, while you sleep, your brain filters through all the information that it acquired through the day. You will wake up in the morning with insights about things that you wrote down and got off of your brain because your brain's been busy working through it while you sleep. Okay, very, very important. Now, all you're going to do, guys, is then once you've done this, 2 hours of prospecting in the morning, hour of follow-up, hour of prep for meetings, hour for lunch, 2 hours for meetings, 2 hours for meetings, and you're going to rinse, wash, repeat, and then refine, and just do something a little bit better each day. Come up with a new system. Figure out a way to get a couple more dials in. Like, think about it, folks. We work with anywhere between 200 and 250 days per year. Okay, if we just did one extra dial a day, that's a 250 dials per year. Most people don't do that in a week, nonetheless a month, right? Or a month, nonetheless a week, right? 250 extra dials is a lot. So just think about that. Maybe when I say rinse, wash, repeat, refine before you leave and you go home for the day, make one dial. In fact, I'll tell you what, write out on a piece of paper or on a sticky note. I love sticky notes on your monitor because it stares you in the face every day. Write one more dial and put it on the back of your office door. How about that, guys? Okay. Very, very important. Very, very important. The more you just get in one more rep, the more you get in one more, it will change your business. It'll change your life because one more call could be one more meeting, could be one more listing, could be one more closing. And what would one more closing in your business be worth this year? What would the compound effect of 250 extra dials? That's that's a solid week at 50 dials a day, right? Of prospecting. How many of you would like to pick up? And guess what? Guess what 1 out of 50 is, incidentally, guys? 2%. You with me? This stuff just isn't magic, right? This has all been thought out. And it works. I promise you. One extra dial a day. That's your extra 2%. Making sense, guys? Okay, cool. So if you guys are looking for this stuff is making sense. The 2% rule, if you want to get 274% better, 2% per week, guys, 2% per week. So don't just like go about your merry day, write it down, put it on a Post-it note, right? If you're at your desk right now, put it on a Post-it note, stick it on your monitor, because I want you to wake up tomorrow and remember this lesson that you got. And then I want you to take it and implement it tomorrow. Can you make that promise to your future self that you're going to do that? Okay. Because here's the thing, right? Whether you do the right things or you don't, tomorrow is going to come, right? God willing, we'll all be here tomorrow. Okay. But the question is, are you going to make the changes necessary? Because nothing changes until you do. Same inputs, same outputs, different inputs, different outputs. Logical, guys, right? Make some sense. Okay. So until you change what you're doing, you're going to get the same result as you got the last 6 months, the last year, 2, 3. So what are you going to wish you did today so that your life is different in 6 months, 12 months, a year? If you want to grow your business, you got to do something different. Okay, guys. So make sure you're taking that gold nugget home with you and you are implementing it tomorrow. Thanks so much for being here, folks. Really, really appreciate y'all. And look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Catch you guys later. Be well.